Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Ahoy! Let's go! We're waking up Chicago. Turn up the radio. It's time to start the show. On Q101 with the morning crew. Ahoy! Let's go! Welcome to the morning show.
Let's go. It is 6:01. Brian and Kenzie on Q101. And just early shout out to Vince in Elmwood Park for listening this morning. Wanted to hear a little Alien Ant Farm to start off. Vince, that was for you. For all the people of Elmwood Park, we think you represent Elmwood Park fine. So there you go. I mean, more than fine.
Just fine?
No, just more than fine. That sounded a little like a little tone there.
You often have a tone.
Yeah, you represent Elmwood Park magnificently.
Why don't you say the best?
I'm trying to get a little better because I think fine sounded a little weak.
It did.
Magnificent is better than best. So Elmwood Park, Vince, thanks for being here with the party at 6:02. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Kenzie's out sick today. She has that RSV, and so does her kid Marino, sadly, because it's going around, man. Wash your hands a lot. I was brought up that way to wash your hands with Ivory soap whenever you enter the house. You wash your hands when you get in the house case.
Absolutely not.
You take the bus.
I know.
And I'm not saying that with a tone either, by the way.
No, I've heard this. I dated a girl for a long time that didn't live here. We were long distance, but when she'd come into the city, we would take public transportation, and then we would get home, and I would just, relax, kick it, sit on the couch, watch some TV.
Understood.
She'd go, "You're not going to wash your hands?" I never even thought about it. It's not something that would ever cross my mind.
So when do you wash your hands? What's the over-under on the time since when you enter your abode?
Whenever I have to use the bathroom. And it's not that I'm messy when I use the bathroom. I'm of the school of thought that it's just that is the time to wash your hands, whether there's a mess or not.
So you're telling me.
Okay.
Hold on. You're telling me you might get home and not wash your hands if you don't go to the bathroom for hours, you don't wash your hands.
Because I go to the bathroom statistically less than the average human also. So there are times where, yeah, you're right, it could be hours.
That's disheartening.
But why?
You started COVID. That's what I'm saying here. It's on the show
Don't
today.
talk about my vacation to Wuhan. It's between you and I.
You got to go in your house and wash your hands immediately when you get home.
You do that no matter where you go.
Everywhere. I've been taking Ubers this week because it's 6 degrees outside, but below zero wind chills, and we have one car, so I gave the car to Megan this week because I'm a good guy.
Well, you can take your snowmobile to work now.
Let Megan use the car today to take Harper to daycare because it's too cold to walk because she walks usually. So I've been taking Ubers, and Lyfts. And by the way, mad props to our rideshare community. You guys are out there in full force at 3 a.m. doing the work out there, keeping the city moving. I've had delightful conversations with 4 of the 5 rideshares. One woman just didn't want to talk, and that's okay, but didn't say one word. I tried a couple conversation starters. Nothing happened.
You threw a few things out there.
It's like, these fires in L.A.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy, huh?
Nothing?
Nothing.
You moved to the Bears?
Crickets.
Nothing? Yeah.
No radio on either, by the way. No Q101 on. You got to put that on the rideshare. It's the most enjoyable radio station in the city of Chicago for rideshare drivers. 97% of them use it. If you're not, you're really on the outs.
That's right.
But you got to that's a public transportation form. Somebody else's car, other people have been in there. You're taking the bus where you're holding a pole or a strap.
Oh, who do you think I am? I'm sitting down on the bus.
You don't get a seat.
I get a seat? You think I'm standing on the bus?
Yeah, well, even if you're sitting, you're touching stuff that at least 7 other people were there a minute ago.
But everybody touches stuff all the time.
That's why you wash your hands. And then Kenzie wouldn't be sick if you washed your hands.
It's my fault?
You brought RSV in here.
Devastating.
You did it. It's you.
I'm sorry.
You know what? Go wash your hands right now.
Yes, sir.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for a fact that makes your brain go. And this one involves all y'all if you have a job. And I feel bad for the people that don't have a job, but you must have had a job at one point. So it does relate to everybody listening right now. And this is in Chicago. So 46%, almost half of employees out there don't know this at their job. And for me, when I read this fact, it was terrifying. Terrifying. And I'm not saying it's a safety-related job. I'm just saying it could be any job. Anything you do, 46% of the people out there don't know this at their workplace. And Case, what do you think that is?
46% of people don't know where the fire exit is at work.
Wow. Well, I'm not going to tell you if you're right or wrong. And I do think that'd be terrifying.
Because do you know where the fire exit is here?
No.
Exactly. Neither do I.
Even though we've had fire drills and I've run down the steps.
Yeah, but I don't know where those steps are.
It's been a minute since we did that.
Right?
I think they are, if we go out the door and take a left and then take a right.
Oh, I don't think we take a right.
Our place is a maze, by the way.
Yes, if you've ever been to a lounge here, it's hard to get to.
I'm not trying to drop a name here.
Okay.
But when Nick Hexum of 311 asked me to go to the bathroom, one of my favorite bands of all time, and I tried to point my way, I said, I'll just take you. And he gave me a look like, why are you taking me to the bathroom? I go, because it's going to be a lot quicker than me just trying to explain where the bathroom is.
That is, I've never thought about that. That's a funny thing that happens with every lounge we do is eventually the band will need to use the bathroom. And I think we've all taken turns walking insert rock band here to the Q101 bathrooms.
And when I've done it, I wait outside. Did you go in?
Why would I go in?
Well, why not? You're in the bathroom. You're at the urinal with Nick Hexum of 311.
I can't be in the bathroom with you. You think I'm going to be able to perform with Nick Hexum?
No, you don't have to go. You just go and stand in there.
I thought I had to go.
No.
Well, I guess while I'm here.
But it's weirder to go in there and just stand in there and go, you go ahead, I'll wait.
Yeah.
You just go ahead and unzip your ply, and I'll just sit here.
I'll, take a peek.
But I got to admit, it was Nick Hexum. I kind of wanted a peek.
Oh, could you imagine?
You know, kind of information I would have that very few people have? Very few. Nick Hexum. I know what it looks like.
I would imagine he's packing.
Oh, what a guy. What a band. All right, so the fact is, we'll tell you in 5 minutes, 46% of y'all out there, employees, don't know this at their workplace. You can take a guess at 312-591-8300, and we'll deliver that fact to you in 5 minutes.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
All right, time for a fact that makes your brain just go. And this was it today, that 46% of employees don't know this at the workplace. And to me, when I read this, it was terrifying. And Case guessed that it was where the fire exit is.
I think almost a majority of Americans don't know where the fire exits are. Now, this led to Matt from Hanover Park texting in. He said that he's going to pull the fire alarm for us because he wants to see the video of us arguing about which way to go. And also, think about what great exercise that would be.
Oh,
Yeah.
Part of our weight loss challenge.
Because you'd have to run to the fire exit.
Yeah.
Running, typically exercise. And then, even though you're going downstairs, stairs are hard work.
Oh.
So it's a double whammy.
It's a great workout. Also, I remember before I was married, happily married and in a relationship.
I don't know where this is going.
Well, a lot of people work like us in a big building with a lot of other offices in it. When there's a fire alarm test, everybody has to go outside. It's a great way to speed date. Because you usually see people you might have seen in the elevator, never had a chance to talk to, and you're kind of going like, opening line might be, so this is a real pain in the ass, isn't it? Hey, you want to just skip out and get some food? It's a great way to get an opener. I would love to know if one of our listeners ever met anybody during a fire drill, because I think it's an excellent new opportunity to change your life and get a relationship going.
Everybody's guards down during a fire drill.
Yeah, everybody's in the same boat.
Yeah, even as an adult, it feels like you're back in high school and you're up for some tomfoolery.
Absolutely. Also, before I give you the answer here on the 46% of not knowing this at work, Jeremy checked in and said 46% don't know who the boss is. That also is somewhat terrifying. And I believe there's a lot of places like that where people don't really know who's really in charge.
I've never been in a place where I haven't known exactly who's in charge at all times.
I have. Because I thought one person was in charge, and when I debated them on something going on at work, they were like, well, hey, that's above my pay grade. I think everybody's heard that phrase, above my pay grade. And wait, so if it's above your pay grade, then you're not really the boss, are you?
Yeah.
I want to talk to that guy.
That's actually one of my favorite lines when people start asking me questions about the show and what we're going to do and things like that. I go, it's above my pay grade. I don't know. You got to talk to somebody else about that.
Which leads to me, and then I say it's above my pay grade, too. All right, so 46% of employees don't know this at work. And this shocked me when I read this according to a new Gallup poll. 46% of employees don't know what's clearly expected of them at work. meaning they don't really know what their job is.
I get that 1,000%.
That was terrifying to me. And this is at a 10-year low. So
this statistic's gotten worse over time.
100%. Not 100%, because that literally, they say people have said in this poll, what am I even doing here at work? Obviously for a paycheck. But there's a Gallup poll that went through 46 know clearly what's expected of them. Only 31% feel engaged at work. That's a 10-year low. 17% feel, quote, actively disengaged. So it's raw dogging work, basically, just trying to go in. But it is, I guess the high was, somewhere in a positive factor, over 50% at one point, but it's a 10-year low of knowing what you're supposed to do at work. I feel like in this job, I know what I'm supposed to do.
Oh, I don't.
You don't know what you're supposed to do.
No, and I've worked with you now for 5 years, and I would say for 4.5 of those years, I've been flying blind every day going like, God, I hope I can figure it out.
You ever wonder, some days the show just sounds a little awkward? Well, Casey's a producer and has to help out with that content.
Executive producer.
In one of those days. Also, Casey had multiple jobs at Q101 while he was here. He was part of the digital department. You were doing all different kinds of things. And I remember you coming into me one day and saying, like, they gave me all this responsibility, and I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
No, it's insane. And if I try to explain to somebody what my job is, it doesn't make any sense. My daily duties as I see fit are nonsensical.
I see my job is to come in here every day with a positive attitude and relate my life and give information and comedy to the masses to get ratings and bring in revenue to keep the lights on.
In short, your job is to rock the house.
I think that's exactly right. Rock the house. Because job descriptions in radio are really funny if you ever see them. If you ever look up a radio job, I love it when they say, must be great with social media. It's kind of like saying, must be great at driving to work at that point. Because I understand being great with social media maybe in 2010, but it's not new.
Yeah.
It's just part of everything now. It shouldn't be having, I have to get good at social media before I apply for this job.
But you and I both know a lot of people that push back on that idea and go, I'm not posting on Facebook.
They do. I know. I don't get it. It's 2025 now, people. I also want to know if our listeners know what they're supposed to do at work.
I would love to know what you do for a living and what you think your job is. That'd be a fascinating poll today, 312-591-8300. I would love to know if you're confused, but you go in, because I've always said, act like you're supposed to be there. That's how you can get raises and move up the ladder. Just fool people that you know what you're really doing. This is how I rose up the ranks at Lids.
Tell me about that.
Well, yeah, I walked in like a badass. I said, give me that sewing machine. I'll sew whatever nickname you want on any of these hats. You want Sir Smokes-a-Lot stitched on the side of your Chicago Cubs hat? Give me the embroidery machine. I got you, big dog.
I'm still waiting for my Sir Smokes-a-Lot hat, my Cubs hat. 312-591-8300. You can check in if you believe that fact that most of you, half of you, don't know what you're expected to do at work.
Brian and Kenzie.
On Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Today's fact that makes your brain go was that 46% of people in Chicago don't know what's clearly expected of them at work. And it's expanded to some people saying, I don't know what the hell is going on. I have this job, I go do it. For example, Rhett the pilot checked in. He says, pilot here, I know my job is to fly a plane from point A to point B, but I absolutely have no clue who my boss is. That is fascinating. That was part of it, where people didn't know who their boss is, too, in this situation.
So if you're a pilot, the most important part of your job is landing the plane. But are there times, like, who's the pilot coach? Do you have somebody you check in on who's like, hey, man, you got to get to Colorado quicker than that?
Well, I assume the towers. I assume the air traffic controllers. The co-pilot must do something. Speed up, slow down.
The co-pilot's just hanging out.
I don't know about that. I also, who tells him where to go?
Oh, who does the pilot's schedule?
Because we've all been on a plane where the pilot goes, good afternoon, and we're flying to Cleveland today. I'm sorry, we're going to Des Moines. And they like say it by mistake. Did someone say, hey, no, we're going to Des Moines? How soon do they know where they're going?
Yeah.
And then, because that determines how they know they're going to take off.
In what way? Wait, what do you mean by that?
Which runway? They face different directions.
Okay, all right.
So fascinated by pilots.
I'm realizing there's more to it than I thought. I thought you just looked snazzy and flew in the sky.
I'm not trying to steal a Louis C.K. bit,
Okay.
but we get on that plane and just figure everybody knows what's going on. I don't know if that's always the case. Rhett could tell us more someday if he wants to reveal his true identity, but go ahead on the text line case.
A Frankfurt mailman checked in and said he's a mailman. He controls the flow of information.
Well, damn right.
He then followed up and said, I would say 80% of mailmen don't know what they're doing.
What does that mean?
Now, I hate to sound ignorant, but mailman seems pretty simple. Take the mail, put it in the box. But then again, who tells the mailman where they're going?
I guess they have a route. I mean, they have a route every
we
day.
did see that in King of Queens where Doug would always want a better route than the one that he had.
But here's the thing I've always wondered about mailmen.
Uh-huh.
Is the mail in order of the houses they're going, or have to dig and try to find, okay, well, this is 2457 Main Street. Like, oh, that one's below this one over here.
And then who sorts that? That's a whole other job.
Good Lord.
Oh, my God. And we want to privatize this? This seems awful. Thank God it's a public service.
The fact was 46% of employees in Chicago don't know what's expected of them at work. Lou checked in from 630, and she says, I'm a vet tech. I feel like my job is self-explanatory, but sometimes I walk in and go, what the F am I doing? very, very relatable. Amanda's checking in. Ahoy, Amanda. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Ahoy.
How you doing?
Good. How are you this morning?
Excellent. So do you have a situation here? Do you know what you do and what you're doing, what you're supposed to do?
So my title is the executive director of a hospice company, and previously I was just a nurse, and then applied for a director of nursing position. So I had an ED who was ahead of me, and all I ever saw her doing was playing like Bubble Pop on her iPad and working her other job as a travel agent. So when I left that company and started my own company and became the executive director, I basically go into work every day and make it up. And I lead a team of like 10 people and just like make it up every day and hope it works.
I assume it pays pretty well, huh?
Yeah, it's great. There's a lot of regulations, so as long as I just follow those rules that somebody else wrote for me, it's okay, I guess.
Well, keep on keeping on. Keep on trucking.
Executive
Right?
director is one of those job titles. It's a little bit like consultant, where it's so vague that I don't think anybody would ever be able to tell you that you're doing your job wrong, Amanda.
Like, what do you do? Everything.
She's Superwoman?
Everything. I put out fires, but everything's on fire, and I don't have enough water or fire extinguishers.
Well, listen, if it hasn't been said to you today, you're doing a great job.
That's right.
You're doing awesome.
Oh, thank you. You guys make my day every single day.
Oh, thank you, Amanda. I guess we're doing our job somewhat right.
We'll see.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Thanks, Amanda.
Absolutely.
Have a great one as executive director there. Just like keep going. Just pretend you're supposed to be there. Act like you're supposed to be there.
I like this text from 312. They said they still Google how to stay busy at work.
Oh, my God. I didn't even think of that.
Can you imagine having to Google how to do your job?
Interesting. The fact of, I think I could find things to keep me busy. It's hard here because it's all the 4 hours we're here. It's a race. We're all going. Every second's occupied the 4 hours we're on the air. Before the show, I know what to do too. After the show, we're trying to get out of here, but we have things to do afterwards. So it becomes like an 8 to 9 hour day, depending on what people think of. Oh, we come in here for 4 hours. 4 hours. What is it? 4 in the door. They used to say
yes.
in the old days in radio. 4 in the door, baby. Those old radio guys used to suck like that.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, this job is a lot of work. It might surprise people to know that, but we really spend hours a day working on this show.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, isn't it? It's really hard to believe. Rich checked in for 815. Ahoy Morning Crew. This is Rich from Hersher. I am a service tech for a lot of major restaurants. Every day I fake it until I make it.
What is service tech?
I don't know. It sounds like he goes in and, to me, my first thought, he fixes the Coke machines, the pop machines.
Okay, so I was just thinking about handymen and how confusing that job must be, because if I break something, I can just call a guy and he can figure it out. But if you're the guy that I call, you have to figure it out. The stakes are so high.
Well, it's the job.
But that sounds hard.
Yeah, I mean, some jobs are harder than others. That's clear. And some people need a skill set. I'm always fascinated with plumbers and electricians and HVAC people. There's an actual skill there. I get that. I can say, wow, you can do this. That's incredible. I wish I could.
Yes, because I can't do anything.
As someone pointed out yesterday, I just talk on the radio. Oh, God. 708 checked in. We're talking about 46% of employees don't know what's expected of them at work, and a lot of people, as we've seen, are faking it till they make it. 708, I teach a credit recovery class, and all of the kids are working independently on the computer. So I just wander around and read books.
That sounds awesome.
That's a great job.
I wonder how you get to a job like that. I think about that we have like the concierge staff here at NBC Tower, the people that are always behind the front desk.
Yes.
How do you start doing that? What in you?
You want that gig?
I can't tell if it's a really good gig or a really bad gig, especially the people that, like, we see the same guy every night because he works the graveyard shift here, so he's here at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning when we come in. How do you end up with that job where your job is to sit at the desk at NBC Tower at 4 in the morning every day?
Maybe you should be more inquisitive and talk to them and say, how'd you get here?
Problem is, I've seen him every day for 5 years. I don't know his name.
It's too late to do it now.
It's too late.
You missed your window.
Too late. I see him every day.
I love these texts coming in and calls. 815 checked in, says, I'm a high school teacher. I tell people to shh, and if they can go to the bathroom all day, that's all I do. Shh.
That's a lot of power to be able to control who can and can't go to the bathroom.
Sean checked in, too, from 3 through 1. I'm an HVAC tech, and I, too, Google issues at work. I can't know everything.
I feel like you should, though.
If he's Googling in the middle of a crawl space to figure something out.
Doesn't make me feel good about the job you're going to do, Sean.
But also, there's a lot of new technology out there. I know people that worked on cars back in the day, and they can't work on a car now, they say, because they open the hood, and it's a lot more computers now under the engine, on the hood.
But do you think there's been advances in HVAC in our lifetime?
I hope so.
But what would be better?
Colder and warmer air. I don't know. 312-591-8300. Keep checking in on this. The fact today was 46% of employees in Chicago don't actually know what's clearly expected of them. And we're getting there with our people here, but keep earning that money. Here's Gil Curtis with your headlines.
This is not headline news. Starbucks will no longer allow people to use the restroom without buying anything. That announcement for those of you who see a Starbucks sign and think of going to the bathroom. Walmart updated its logo. It has a chunkier font. The change was made to reflect the fact that they have chunkier customers. A new survey shows the most trusted job in America is nurse, and the least trusted job is Diddy party planner. 1 in 5 members of Gen Z can't change a light bulb. However, 4 out of 5 boomers can't change a vape cartridge. So who's the idiot? And after announcing her split with her husband, Jessica Simpson put her Los Angeles home on the market. So get it while it's hot. Literally. This is not headline news.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Coming up in sports here in about 5 minutes. This is going to sound very strange if you didn't listen to the show yesterday, but this is the tease. Did I buy a snowmobile to block my wife from buying tickets to the Philadelphia Eagles-Rams playoff game in Philadelphia? Now, we'll explain that in sports, but I may or may not right now currently own a snowmobile.
It's interesting if you own a snowmobile. It's evil that you would buy a snowmobile to prevent your wife from going to an NFL playoff game.
I'll give you a little more. That would be using all the last points on our credit card that we've earned to buy that snowmobile so she couldn't buy the tickets to the playoff game in Philadelphia and fly there because I must be a bad person.
No, because you want a snowmobile.
I didn't really want one until yesterday. And I may have one now, and we'll let you know in sports if that's how it played out. Now, we're getting back to the fact that it made your brain just go. About 46% of employees in Chicago don't clearly know what's expected of them. It has snowballed into finding out what you do for a living, and do you know what you're doing? 224 checked in, first-time texter. Welcome to the party. Appreciate you with Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Bus driver here. And some days I have no idea what I'm doing. But yet I do the same thing every day, he says.
So what is the bus driver confused? That's a job. It's like a surgeon. I need a steady-handed bus driver.
I like that, again, you get on a plane, you know, you have all full trust and everybody's doing what they're doing that's flying it or driving it or whatever. I didn't think about a bus driver. I didn't think about that. But thanks for checking in. Thanks. I love your honesty of our listeners. It's very good.
It's great. Rocky checked into the text line. He said that he saw an electrician on Instagram Live asking people's advice on how to fix an electrical problem.
On IG Live?
On IG Live. The very same.
So I usually go on there for guitar videos when there's someone's doing a live stream on IG.
Yeah.
I didn't know people would be asking questions on there how to fix something.
Well, I guess I love the idea that an electrician stream would be interactive. Like, hey, guys, drop in the chat what you think I should do next. Should I cut the red wire or the blue wire? You let me know.
Don't ever cut the red one. The place will explode. Have you not watched the videos of guys walking away from explosions? That's what happens.
So what we've really learned today is that no one knows what they're doing ever.
Well, there's some. Maybe it's 50%, which is what the stat shows.
I guess.
Kendrick checked in from 312. I work with kids, specifically toddlers. My job is to make sure they don't bite each other. That's the whole job.
Oh, God, that's stressful.
Well, listen, I'm glad everybody's that's calling in here and checking in. You have a job and you're fooling the bosses into knowing, what you're doing and that you're capable, and we love you. Thank you. Sports after Lovely the Band. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.